What is it?
Today I'm at Kirkton Garden Centre in Stonehaven. They've got a big hedge that runs up to that sign there that they need to be trimmed. So we're trimming the face of it and reducing the height by a couple of feet because that's the main dual carriageway up to Aberdeen just behind there. So the hedge is starting to block the view of the sign advertising this is the garden centre. So we're going to get that cut back. These big trees here are going to get a big reduction as well to match it, including that one there. So it's going to be an all-day job, possibly coming back on Thursday as well. We'll see how it goes. First, breakfast. So it's probably about a 25 to 30 metre hedge. I finally bought a tarp for cutting hedge trimmings. I can't believe I went through the whole winter and didn't buy one. Look at that. Absolutely no cleanup required. Getting that sinking feeling that I have undercoated for this job. It's a big hedge. This is literally all I've managed to get done. I trimmed the face of the hedge, which looks nice and neat, and then started cutting into it with the hedge trimmer and the pole saw, and then all of my chains have worn out. I didn't really have enough of them with me. They keep kicking off the bar, so I'm pretty sure one of them has like a broken tooth on it as well, so need to get more of them. Need to go down to my local supplier and try and get a few bits and pieces. The depth of the hedge from like front to back is probably 4 meters, like almost a car length. Crazy. So coming back here Thursday, probably going to be back here Saturday and Sunday. But I've already spoke to the people at the garden centre and explained that they're totally understanding, and they have done this before themselves, cut along the top, and it took 3 days to do along the top of this hedge for one of their employees. So I think they're going to be fine with me taking a bit longer than expected. It is frustrating to think that you're taking all this time, buying all this stuff, and only getting that far. Especially like since I've been here since about 9 o'clock in the morning. But just cutting into all this thin stuff to remove it, to then get in with the pole saw and chop it out, is it's just taking so much time. Here's hoping that today goes a little bit smoother than the garden centre hedge did yesterday, which I've still got to finish off, but that's tomorrow's job. Here in Lawrencekirk today, got this hedge to just give a wee shave and take the top off of. Got the tarp down again, and just a wee tidy up here, and then most of the work's going to be in the back garden. But the customer is just had an operation, so isn't able to do a lot of stuff themselves, so that's why I'm here to try and help out and make a bit of a difference. Right, that's the face of this hedge done, and just along the top. It's mostly on the neighbour's side, so I've tried to reach over a little bit to take some straggly bits off, but can't go too far because technically that's cutting the hedge in someone else's property. Stage of the job I'm at now is clearing the borders of leaves and weeds, cutting back some of the perennials. Still a good chunk over there to go to get cleared up, but it's going well. It stayed dry. There was a threat to rain earlier on, but I've got the big hedge done and making some progress here. Top half of the garden's finished, the border's all done, lavender's been trimmed, and a few other things are looking sharper, so getting there. This is the finished article. A lot of perennials have been cut back. This was all covered in leaves all around here. That's all been swept up and cleared. The patio as well. Everything's been trimmed back. A lot of the kind of sort of herbaceous perennials which die back each year, they've all been trimmed back and cleaned off, and there's a bit of leaf litter on that lawn, but I'm going to be cutting his grass again in a few weeks, so I'll be getting it all then. And then all around that patio area has been cleaned up as well. Now it does have a little trellis over there that wants me to stick on that wall there, but I don't have an impact drill, the masonry bit, with me, or any means of tying it down. So I think that's going to have to wait until I get those things and come back. So I'll let him know. He also wanted me to completely square off that big hedge up there, but almost all of the hedge is on his neighbour's side. So I've done what I can without, you know, going, taking the mick and cutting the neighbour's hedge. So hopefully he'll be okay with that, and we'll soon find out. But they're away for the rest of the afternoon, so I'll send him an email once I get back and just send some pictures and let him know. And hopefully it'll be an A-OK from him. What a day already. I've got to go back to that garden centre in Stonehaven and finish that huge hedge, which I completely underestimated how much work it is. But I need a new chain for the pole saw and probably a new bar just to make sure that I have everything, nothing's broken. But my local dealer didn't have stock, so I've had to order online. It didn't come yesterday when it said it would, and it's supposed to come today. So I'm pulling forward jobs for Friday and Saturday, and then I'll do the big hedge at the garden centre Friday and Saturday instead. So I've put a ticket on my door to like ask the DHL driver, please stick it at the back door or try a neighbour. I just desperately need these parts. They're cheap parts, so if they go missing, I'll take responsibility for it, but I just need them. So please don't stick a missed delivery sticker through the letterbox. So this is today's little job that we've pulled forward from Saturday. It's a privet hedge, which is probably best part of 3-4 metres tall. We're going to take a good couple of feet off the face of it, square off the sides, and then take the height of it down to about head height, which is sort of about here on the hedge. So a fair bit of material to come off, but I've got the trusty tarp down, got all the bits and pieces. This time, thankfully, so we'll get this done. The customer's also really lovely and very kindly agreed to pull the job forward on short notice. So here's hoping to make a good job of it, keep her happy. That's it, just starting to get wet now, but taking a lot off. It's looking good. Got a lot of waste to pick up. I knew I wasn't going to stay dry for long. But this hair is getting very, very wavy. Right, that's this privet hedge all cut and trimmed, taken down to head height and cut back a good couple of feet from the edge there. Got all the waste cleared away and everything's away in the van. Just got this last two things to put down. That's me. Came back here to feed Benji, a little office manager. Wind's picking up. I'm back at St. Cyrus for this little tidy up job. I just put down some more bark over there. I'm just going to clear that border along there and get all the weeds out of this gravel in here. And then that's this job done. Right, that's all the weeds. Some bark put down, and that's all this cleared as well. I'll offer the customer a fortnightly weed spraying, which will help keep it neat and tidy for her. Right, this is the third weed job that I'm going to. Well, I've done it now. This beech hedge, which runs along here, just getting the faces trimmed up, tufty bits cut off, and all the bits along the top done as well. So you see it's been cut along there. So it's just a good bit neater. And then I've got more work to do at this garden over the next few days. Yeah, I'm going to be coming back here to kind of clear up all the leaves, weed the borders, cut things back, just kind of an end of season, end of winter tidy up before the spring starts. And then I'm hoping I can get a bit of a grass cut job out of this as well, because it's a big garden and it slots nicely in amongst existing customers and that, so we'll see how that goes. Back at the garden centre again to try and tackle all of this. So this needs to get cut back, all the big limbs taken off and cut down to probably about this height. Then this one here, similar, so you can kind of see what I've been cutting there. This needs to kind of follow along. And it's also these cars from the dual carriageway, you can see the sign up at the top of there from the road easily. So I've got all day today, I've got all day Saturday, and I've got all day Sunday set aside up here, prepared to do the work. So I think my plan today is to continue this cut all the way up and take as much of the loose twiggy stuff out as I can. I've got an extension pole for the saw and hedge trimmer. I've got the tarp, the big ladder, I've got loads of batteries. Shouldn't be an issue. I think the big problem is how far I can get through here today. The spare chains that I ordered for the pole saw came yesterday, but there was only one chain in the bag. I should have opened it yesterday and checked it, but I did it this morning when I got here. And so I phoned the company, told them, and hopefully they can get one out to me quickly. Very, very frustrating when there's something that you need, you've ordered it and you've arranged it and it hasn't come, because that's probably going to be the next barrier now, is running out of sharp chain, because as soon as it gets too blunt and all the rest of it, it can start to kick off the bar. I've made adjustments to it this morning to try and hopefully make it nice and tight and good to go. We'll just see how it goes today. Pray for me. This Crest pruning saw is pretty good. You can get through the stuff which is a bit thicker for the hedge trimmer, but maybe a bit too spindly for the pruning saw. So you can get in closer to the heart of the denser, woodier stuff, like you can see the trunks in there. But the plan is to try and cut a channel in to the center of the hedge here, and then start using the pruning saw, the pole saw, to basically cut the top off. And I'm going to have some material behind the fence there. I'm going to have a lot to get rid of, but I think I'll probably have to hire a wood chipper. It's all just examples of where I'm not efficient enough, and I'm going to have to maybe rob some pallets from down here and use that to make a platform on top of this hedge to work my way along and cut all of the really woody stuff and get it chucked down, because I think it's going to be difficult to do it all from the side and cut in. So I shall keep you posted. You know, just when you think you're making good progress and you come higher, you realise how thick the hedge is. I'm going to be here for a while. I've gotten almost all the way up to the top, cutting into the hedge, and then I'm just going to start this big bit here. Well, I've got most of them down. This is all one trunk, which I've cut into, but now my pole saw is stuck in it. Well, I got it out, managed to get it pulled out of the tree from the little cut that's in there. I had to climb into it and then push to try and get that to lean over more. So I'm gonna have to try and cut it again now so that it's not quite so precarious. Otherwise, saw's lot will fall on someone. Probably me. Well, it's down. I had to do a couple of little light taps of the pole saw to break that last little bit and hightail it out of there. Definitely not the safe way to do it. Back here again today, Saturday. At least those two trees are down. Just need to get this little tufty bit here and then start cutting in all the way along. I doubt very much that I'm going to get it all done today. Up here, it's a lot woodier at the top. So if I get the pole saw out, I can cut into that, and then there's not much left before the other side of the hedge. But you can definitely see how much of a difference I'm making cutting into the woody stuff. It's just so thick. Like normally it's a bit emptier, like these bits here, but so much of it is like full of thin straggly bits, which is bad for the pole saw, but then some of it's too thick for the hedge trimmer, so it's just constantly switching back and forth between things. But the small handheld Crest pruning saw has been pretty good. Crest pruning saw is great, however the battery doesn't last very long. I have ordered more of these, a larger size, and I've also got more spare chains coming to try and get through this and make faster work. The Ego hedge trimmer is great for taking out all this thin spindly stuff and chipping that down, and then I've been using the Crest handsaw to take out the thicker bits, trying to cut deeper into the hedge. Once you get quite far in, then you've got really thick trunks and branches. So my hope is that I can get a bit more of this done tomorrow. I don't know when those new batteries and chains are coming though, because that would be really handy to have today. Sunday, 1st of March, back here once again at this big hedge. I shouldn't really be doing it today because it's now 1st of March, but I've started it, I have to finish it. There's no way I can leave it like this for the customer because it's in the same area as their playground, and I really don't want to leave a half-finished job for 6 months. From here you can see how far I've cut in. I've taken it all the way down to here, cutting into the hedge. Up at the top I've cut in quite far. It's like spitting with rain, but it's not wet. I'm hoping that I can get... I'm not gonna get it finished, but the amount of thick wooden green waste as well that I'm gonna have to take away from here is crazy. I'm not getting my trailer until the start of April, but I wasn't gonna get a wood chipper until the start of next winter season for hedge trimming, because it doesn't make sense to buy it and then have it sit idle in the shed for 6 months. So I'm now rethinking that maybe I should, or at least hire a wood chipper and see how it gets on with conifers, and maybe that gives me an idea of what wood chipper to buy. And then I can just take that to the yard, wood chip everything in one go. Also so much woody waste as well from previous jobs. And if I can just wood chip all that, then maybe I suppose that becomes a waste material which I could offer to people for their borders, cover it in wood chip, buy yourself a bit of time, not having to weed them throughout the season. I don't know if that'll work. I'm on top of the hedge. That's how far I've come so far. Taking all the woody material off that was on the outer side of the hedge. So cutting into it, try to switch between the pole saw and the hedge trimmer. I've got the extra long reach pole as well to try and thin this out and take it off. But I'm making good progress so far. I'm sitting on a pallet as like a makeshift platform. It's not very good. I would think a cherry picker would probably be better for this kind of work. I've been here for maybe 45 minutes, half an hour working on this. That's how far I've gotten so far. Probably about 8 meters. So I've probably got 3 more of them to go. Much more optimistic now that I've started doing this. It's definitely harder, like working on top of the hedge. You don't have the same balance, the same kind of sure-footedness. But that's how far we've got to go, all the way down to that fence. There's also some really long bits left over there from when I took down the 2 trees. And then that's what it looks like after. So the top of the hedge will look pretty rubbish for a while. But the top edge of the hedge now is just above eye level. So over time they'll be able to trim and keep the hedge lower, and it'll gradually green up again and fill up. And now they've got like a nice thick woody centre, which they can kind of work on now. I would say if they had the extra long reach hedge trimmer that I've got here with the extra carbon fibre extension pole, they could probably get a tall ladder like this or a platform and reach right to the edge of the hedge, but they would have to do it twice a year to stop the hedge from growing too much, getting too thick and too woody, because then you're back into needing a pole saw. But no, it's doing well today. There's no one really here because it's pretty rubbish today, a bit grey and wet, so the kids aren't out in the play park, which is nice. Don't have to worry about them being next to me. They haven't really come close when they have been here, and the parents are usually out with them, so I don't have to worry too much. But yesterday there were some people running around and they were getting close to the edge here, and wasn't a big fan of them being that close to me when I was working. But making progress, getting there. So I do feel more optimistic today. I don't know if I'll get it completely finished today. I hope I will. Just need to go back to the van to get a little flathead screwdriver to tighten the chainsaw, because I think the chain's just a little bit too loose and it's going to pop off if I don't. So just all this back and forth sucks up time, because I have to walk all the way along this fence to the gate and then back down the other side. And I can't park up here by the gate because it's like their loading area and their customer car parking and stuff. Walking all the way back to the van from the hedge that I'm doing over there, all the way up there, out the gate at the side next to that end of that building, and all the way back down here. Just to get my steps up. I've left my van keys over there in the box. But I'm pleased, I'm happy that I'm making progress. It's Sunday, I've lost my entire weekend to work, but if I ever have to do a job like this again, I think I'm gonna probably double the price. We're over halfway, baby! Right, this is how far I've managed to get today. So I don't have much left. There's still half an hour before the garden centre closes, but I need to pack up the van and all the rest of it. So just that bit left to do, and I think I'll definitely have time next week to do it. Get that polished off and it should be looking much better. So today I'm in Lothamere. It's Monday, first week of March, and I'm weeding these raised beds. There's a few of them around this garden. It's quite a long garden. I've got some raised beds. I actually trimmed this hedge last month, and this is the same lovely customer which referred me to the garden centre and helped me get that job. So thank you very much to them if they watch this video. So today, clearing these borders, and after that I'm going to Lawrence Kirk to do some pressure washing for a regular customer's patio, and then after that back to Bervie to try and do a bit of a post-winter tidy up for another regular customer before the new season starts. So it's going to be a busy day, but I need it to create the time tomorrow to go back to the garden centre and finish that hedge. That's the first bed, now immaculate. Just about 10 more to go. That's those two beds over there done. This second little one was absolutely full of nettles. And I'm going to start these ones, these planters and this bed here. I also bought a bunch of these new ton bags. I'm always surprised when I see people just reusing old aggregate bags and never replacing them when they get holes in them. These, you can buy these in bulk cheap, like for effectively like £1 a bag. So there's no reason not to have plenty of fresh bags when you're starting to get ratty, because it's also something the customer sees. You know, having fresh bags, it's cheap, it's easy, they do last a while as long as you don't drag them over the ground. But having ones that aren't filthy, it just looks a little bit better when you're in a customer's garden. A bit more professional too. They don't always have to be pristine, but at least they're not covered in gunk and rubbish and filthy, especially when you've had green waste sitting in them for a little while waiting to get emptied. They end up just like stained green and brown. So yeah, there's no excuse not to have fresh bags. Another big bed weeded, and these planters as well. Next it'll be this one, and then work my way down there. Another bed weeded. bed number, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, number 8, I think, bed number 8. So I've started raking out these big beds and making piles of all the waste and chaff. And then I'll go through and pick out the weeds and clumps of grass and that. It's so dense with bulbs and kind of ground cover perennials and that I think it'll actually be okay. So it's 2 big beds here, and then there's a few more raised beds over there. But getting there. It's more of these beds done. Just this one here and these 2. So I finished that weeding job, and now I'm at the next one, which is a pressure washing job for a regular maintenance customer. Well, I got that pressure washing job done pretty fast, no problem. Only thing is I forgot to take an after picture from the before and after. Yeah, like the light colour slabs had quite a lot of algae on them and went a bit grimy, so I just used the pressure washer to blast off the worst of that and get them pretty clean, looks so much better, and then put down a kind of a wet and forget style chemical just to help knock back the algae and the moss for coming back on those slabs. I just came back to the house for a quick spot of lunch and a bit of break. I've got one more job still to do. I need to go to another house here in Bervie and do a little bit of like weeding, tidying up some paths, remove some weeds that are in their lawn. I don't cut their grass, I've got a robot mower, but I think it maybe gets cut too short, so like the weeds are coming up through the grass. And then what else have I got after that? I can't remember. And at some point I need to go back and pick up that bag of waste that I've left at Lothiemere. Yeah, it's a lovely day, it's sunny, it's not hot, but like I'm just standing in the corner of the house here outside and the sun's hot, but it's a bit breezy, so down here right now it's a bit sheltered, so you could almost sunbathe, but not quite yet. So I'm strimming along the base of this hedge, which is Portuguese laurel, but it looks very poorly. I don't know if it's doing well at all. I don't know if it's been sprayed with weed killer or if it's the exposed location that's doing it, but it looks very unhappy. Stopped at the top of Garvick Hill. It's a road that runs between St Cyrus and Lawrencekirk, and there's a farm here that was for sale a couple of years ago, and it stretches all the way up to the top of this hill. And I said, when me and Stephen first came up here, like when I first like came and stayed and stuff like that, I remember saying, if that bit of land at the top of the hill ever comes up for sale, that would make the most amazing plot for a house, because you could have views of the sea one way over the fields, and then views of the valley and the start of the Cairngorms the other way. You'd literally get sunrise to sunset all day, although you would get absolutely battered by the winds. And the whole farm came up for sale, and it was like 500 acres, but it was also like 500,000, and unsurprisingly we didn't have 500,000. If we did, we would have bought it, because that would have been incredible, and just figured out what to do with the other 499 acres. It's going to be a good day. I'm going back to Kirkton Garden Centre and I'm going to finish that hedge. The garden centre have been great. They've offered to give me my lunch for free today as well. So thank you so much to Kirkton Garden Centre. If anyone from there watches this video, thank you. And apologies that it took so long to get it done. Although I'm saying that now, I haven't finished it yet. I'm very happy. It's a lovely day. We're going to finish strong and then get paid at the end of it. I'm almost there. I've only got this little bit here to do. Yeah, I'm very pleased with how much progress I'm making today. Cutting through it, getting there. Only a little bit left to go, and then hopefully get some nice before and after videos. It's finally finished. Finally finished. All the way along. Can't believe it. So happy. Whew. It's warm today. I'm sure if you look at like the temperature in the van or something, it's probably not that hot, but it feels hot because it's sunny. Oh, I'm so glad this is done. The staff at the garden centre just very kindly gave me a free lunch. Got a nice little coronation chicken sandwich. It's been a nice job. I say that now that it's finished. It was the first couple of days I was greeting, but at least it's done now. So I'm happy. So I just need to get rid of all the waste, which will be probably a massive trek to get rid of it all. But I'll just get everything over these couple of fences, so it's away from the customers, and start getting it away in trips. But very happy. Right, that's everything cleaned up. And the hedge is all trimmed and cut. Got all that waste to take away. A couple of bags to drag around to the van. Yeah, it's looking much better.